uh, we are going to kick this call off. All right. So, okay. So for those of you that I have not had a chance to meet, my name is Sarah Zolecki. I make my home in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have a chance to build this business every single day with the one and only my better half, Tony Zolecki. We have two little kids, a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. So for those of you that are trying to juggle it all, I get it. I appreciate you. Drop a 1 in the chat if you are a mom trying to make it happen through these holidays right now. There is a lot of stuff that we are just trying to make work, right? So I appreciate you guys being on here tonight. I am like you. I am loving the holidays, but I have I don't know. I kind of have a secret confession. I kind of get excited when the holidays are over. I know it's so bad. You're probably like, oh my God, you're a Grinch, but like it's sometimes a lot, right? It's sometimes a lot that's happening. And so I'm excited tonight, guys, because this Zoom that I get a chance to share with you guys, this absolutely changed my life. So if you're asking, like, Sarah, what's one of the one things that completely took your business from like hanging out to completely like skyrocketing, it's this training tonight. So if you don't have a notebook and a pen, if you don't have a cell phone where you're taking notes or a laptop, grab something, grab a napkin if you need to. We're going to go through some great information tonight. So let me go ahead. I want to share my screen and I'm going to jam with you guys through some stuff. So here's the thing. How many of you guys would love to instantly influence people to either to number 1, join your business, or number 2, get moving in your business, right? Drop me a 1 if that's you. If that's you tonight, like you are in the right place here. I am super excited to share with you guys all this information. Okay. So, I tell people all the time, wouldn't it be amazing if you could like be a mind reader? Oh my God. If we could be mind readers, let me tell you guys, well, none of us would be on the Zoom. We would all be rich and we'd be like on an island with a little coconut drink, like hanging out. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing I would tell you, this is going to be the closest thing to being a mind reader. Okay. Which is awesome. Right. So let's talk a little bit about this. Okay. So one of the things that I'm trying to look for my little cursor over here. Come on, baby. What happened? Okay. So here's the thing. How many of you guys, and feel free guys to be active in this chat, sometimes feel stuck trying to find people's hot buttons, right? Maybe you feel like you're somebody where you're like, how do I get people to actually listen to me or respond to me, right? How do we motivate people to say yes in our business? And, if that is you guys, this Zoom that I'm going to jam through with you guys, like I'm just telling you, you're going to have so many light bulbs tonight. It's going to be awesome, right? But maybe some of us, maybe we're actually using the skills that we've learned and we're talking to prospects, but we still can't seem to get people to take, a decision, right? Make a decision, get off the fence, like either, like I tell people, I would rather have someone tell me yes or no than a maybe. Like a maybe, how many of you guys agree? Like a maybe is so painful. Like drop the word pain in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Like it is painful to get a maybe. I'm like, you're a maybe. I hate maybes, right? It's just the worst, right? Maybe you might even be feeling you're on the Zoom tonight and you are trying to motivate your team, right? For those of you that have a team already, and they still aren't moving into action, right? Or you're finding yourself the things that you are doing with them, they're feeling like unmotivated, or they might even be feeling demotivated by you and you can't figure out why. Okay. And the reason I can say that, guys, is that was me. There was so many times in my business that I couldn't get people to move, or I probably was saying the wrong thing and I didn't know that I was. So I'm going to actually walk you guys through some of these things tonight. So here is what I'm going to share with you guys that is so cool, is that tonight you're actually going to learn, like, number 1, how to understand yourself, but also number 2, once you learn who you are, you're going to learn exactly like how to adapt and deal with other people when it comes to prospecting, when it comes to motivating your team, when it comes to dealing with conflict resolution in your team, because we're all going to deal with that because it's personalities. Here's what I want you guys to know. The number 1 job in your business is to become a chameleon. You want to be good at attracting every type of personality in your business. you also want to learn how to just how specifically certain people are motivated by. Because here's what I know, okay? Every single one of us are motivated by different reasons that we build the business. The challenge and sometimes the problems that we make, I'm raising my hand because I'm guilty of this, is that for a long time, I used to run around thinking that people, what I was excited about in my business, other people were going to be excited about too. Okay, here's the thing, that is not true. Do you know that literally, guys, 75% of the people that you talk to about your business, 75% of those people are not going to be motivated by the same reason that you are. And because of that, a lot of times we make like bad decisions. We do things in our business that actually push people away. We do things in our business that people, the reason why people go MIA in our messages, right? And we're in Messenger with someone and we thought it was on a roll and all of a sudden like they ghosted us, they're gone. Or we launch someone into our business and they go MIA, or someone signs up and they don't do anything. Right. And so it's learning how do I become that chameleon, right? And how do I move this person along, right? Without them necessarily knowing that I'm moving them along. And the way that you do that is understanding their personalities. Okay. So what I want to talk to you guys about, we're actually going to have a ton of fun. Oh my God, I wish I could open up this chat. It's going to be a blast tonight. But here's what I want to share with you guys. Okay. So my girlfriend, Di Carter, if you have not had a chance to meet her, she is an amazing, amazing leader inside of our business. She's actually in the chat right now going to draft an attachment. Okay. So here's the thing I want you guys to do. I want you guys to download this, but I don't want you to do this right now. Okay. Because I don't want you to miss this whole thing. After this training, you'll be able to go back and you'll be able to go through the quiz. Okay. So please, so hear me again, don't go through this quiz right now. You're gonna like miss so much good stuff. Okay. So this personality quiz, what this is that this is gonna ask you a series of questions that you're gonna answer, and very quickly you're gonna figure out which color personality that you are. Now I know some of you guys, you've maybe done personality quizzes like this for your job or career or at your church or community or what have you. This one is a little bit different. This one is very specific for network marketing. Okay, very specific. So maybe some of you guys have done like color personalities, or you've done like animals, or you've done like you're a fire, you're a water, you're a whatever, right? Like I get there's like, or your gems, what have you, right? There's all kinds of different ones. I'm going to keep it simple. We're going to do 4 colors. Okay. So we're going to do red, yellow, blue, and green. Now, here's the funny thing. As I go through these, some of you guys, you might not even need to do the quiz because you're going to know who you are right away. Right away, you're going to be like, oh my God, she is totally picking on me right now and talking about me. Okay. So I want to, preface it up front. I'm not picking on anyone. I'm just kind of walking through these things. But I promise you, by the time we get done here tonight, you're going to have so many ahas. I'm just telling you, some of you guys, like your business after tonight's Zoom will never, absolutely never, ever be the same because of what I'm going to share with you guys. Okay. This totally changed my whole entire career. All right. So we're going to talk about the reds. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. We're going to talk about with each personality. We're going to talk about what they like, what they don't like. We're going to talk about how do you invite them to look at your business. We're going to talk about what motivates them. We're going to talk about how to close that specific color, right? How to get them to say yes. And then we're going to talk about how do we get them to take action in our business. Okay. So it's going to be a packed training for you. So first of all, a red. Okay. So let's talk about the reds. Okay. So here's the thing about the reds. The reds, they need to be first in everything. That's just kind of how they're wired. They like to be first. They're not people that want to be last. They are someone that likes to take charge in kind of everything that they do. Reds, they love being the hero. They're like, hey, give me one more thing. I can do it. Reds have a hard time saying no because they're like, I don't want them to think I'm weak. I want them to know that I can do this, right? I got this. If you ask a red to do whatever, they'll do it. Reds a lot of times overcommit. Because they're like, I can't say no. Like, I can do it. Of course, I'm a red. Like, I got this, right? Okay. They love taking on the world. That's just how they are. They kind of have it as like a badge of honor. It's just kind of how they're wired. Reds, they have no problem saying they like to make a lot of money. Okay. They have no problem with that. They like to make money from kind of every different direction they possibly can, right? They also love the best of the best. They love the good life. They love the champagne, right? They love the nice clothes. They love the nice, they love nice things, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the way that a red is wired. They like the best of the best, right? That's just kind of how they are. Now, here's the thing that I want you to understand. Now, with a red, though, here's some of the things they dislike. Okay, so they dislike people that are overly sensitive, right? So again, if you are the opposite of this, you might be realizing real quickly you might have some reds in your team, or you might have some reds in your business, where sometimes you might think, oh my gosh, a red, right? Or that, wow, what she said was kind of rude. Now you guys are going to start thinking, oh, you know what? My girlfriend, maybe she's a red, right? Maybe she's a red. Maybe that's why that I'm clashing, because reds a lot of times they're pretty blunt. They're pretty like to the point, right? They're overly sensitive people. They're like, oh my gosh, like, come on, get it together, people, right? They also too are very fact oriented. So reds, like, they have emotion, but they're not super emotional people, right? They'll hold it together. You probably won't see a red cry very often. If they do, that you might, they might try to like fake you out for a second and kind of wipe it away. And, all of a sudden, they're that tough skin's coming back. Very fact oriented people. They don't like people that are non-focused. So if people aren't focused, they're like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? Right? Maybe there's people in their life that they're, kind of like multitasking or do all these different things. And a red, a lot of times they're just like, oh my gosh, like stop. Like you've got to get focused, like get your blinders on, right? Because that's how a red is. They are very like results oriented. They're very much like, hey, like singular focus, like get the job done, get it, kind of get it done, make it happen. This is kind of how they are, right? Now, a red also, they don't like people telling them what to do. A red definitely has a personality where it's like, if you tell them they can't do something, a red is going to say, oh yeah, just watch me. Watch how this happens. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, like give me a good challenge. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, okay. So, and here's the thing about red zone. I'm just going to say it. Reds, they hate losing at anything. I wish I could say reds are great at losing. They're terrible. They're your poor sports. They're the people that get angry, that are like on the golf course and they'll throw their club, right? They're the people that are like, they'll find a way to win sometimes at like whatever they got to do. They say that, oh, we're just going to have fun with it. But in their mind, the reason they say that is they want to trick you because they want to win. Like that's how they are. They'll find a way to win at a silly board game. They'll find a way to win at it's just how they are. It's their competitive nature. Okay. So reds, these are some things they definitely dislike. Now, here are some traits with the red. Okay. A trait with the red, very competitive. Anything that they can make a game where they can win, they're in. Do you know what I mean? They'll make a game out of anything. Anything where someone can win or lose, that's just how they're wired. Okay. Reds, unfortunately, sometimes they have no filter. They don't filter anything. Like sometimes they say things and you're like, wow, that was rude, or wow, I can't believe they just said it. It's how reds are. They really have no filter in a lot of things. Reds, overachiever. Okay, overachiever. They are like, and they're proud of being an overachiever, right? That's just kind of, they'll go above and beyond. If you tell them, hey, you need to talk to 3 people today, a red is like, I'm talking to 5. You know what I mean? Like that's just how they are. They're wired like that. They are very determined, AKA sometimes stubborn. Okay. They are determined. If they make a decision, they're going to do something. They're going to do it come heck or high water. It's just how they are. Like they're, a red, their mentality is like, I might die trying to do this, but if I'm dying, like I'm still going to do whatever I got to do to like make this happen. Reds can sometimes be impatient, right? They want it quick. Reds, they're not good. They go to a grocery store and they somehow, here's what's funny about Reds. Reds, a lot of times they'll go to a store and somehow they think that they can like find the line that's the shortest, and they get in that line, and a lot of times that line ends up being the longest. You know what I think? I think that's God playing a joke on the Reds. I really do, because the Reds, they're like, what the heck? They get upset because they're like, if there's a line, they're out. Like, that's just not how, they're not someone to like sit on their phone to call customer service. They always are like, they put their phone number in and that's it. Like they don't want to like hang out. They just don't do that. Okay. Reds, they are confident. They tend to be confident even when they don't know what the heck they're doing. They still show up big. It's how they are. They're like, I'm going to figure this out, right? I don't want anyone to know that I don't really know what's happening yet, right? But they are bold. They have big energy. Again, they can sometimes be rude, right? Because they're sometimes bold. Because a lot of times, sometimes with the red, they forget about thinking about other people. Okay. So, some of you guys, you might say, oh my gosh, like I see a lot of these traits that like I'm a red, or some of my prospects are a red, or some people are a red in my team, right? So these are just some traits. And again, guys, these aren't like good or bad or whatever. They just are. But these are some very, very significant traits of a red personality. Okay. All right. So how do you recognize a red? Okay. Now, this is a little bit different because obviously we're on social media a lot, but I will tell you, you can still pick up on this. You can still pick up on their stories, on their reels, on their posts, on their verbiage. You can pick up very quickly on a red. Okay. So number one, a red, sharp dresser, sharp. They are people that show up and they are like dressed to kill. They are someone that, for them, it's definitely like label, it's status, it's, for them, they are dressed to the nines. Okay. One thing that's interesting as well with reds, okay, is reds will, like, they get on camera, they have their makeup done. They do a post, they have their makeup done. Even in a story, even though they say, hey, be authentic, be natural, it kills a red. A red is like, oh God, I at least need some lipstick on, right? They are like, they want to always show up, right? The one thing about a red, they show up in everything that they do. So another thing about a red, a lot of times they talk fast, they walk fast, they eat fast, they do everything fast. A red, they are typically like 90 miles an hour or zero. Okay. 90 miles an hour or zero is a red. If you meet them in person, they have a very firm handshake. They don't shake your hand like a wet noodle. They are like, shake your hand, like it's very firm. They look you in the eyes, right? And so one thing too about reds, guys, is that they're typically late. On a Zoom like this, they're typically late. You know why they're late? Because they're doing a lot of things. They're making things happen. They're typically going from like Zoom to Zoom to Zoom, or doing different things, getting things done, right? And then jumping on a Zoom or meeting you in person. A lot of times they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I'm late. I was doing this and this and this, right? Because what happens is they're that overachiever. So they're that overachiever. So they overcommit. So they're committed to all these things because they're taking on the world. Right? Some of you guys were laughing. You're like, holy crap, she's calling me out. I'm just telling you, like, that is how a red is wired, right? So how you recognize a red. Another thing too, guys, that's just a little small thing, is a red, definitely, they're always put together. But a red a lot of times likes to wear gold jewelry. I know this seems like a funny thing, but I'm just telling you, once you hear this, you're going to start watching it and you're going to see it all the time. Reds like to wear gold. It's like status again. It's just kind of how they are. We notice a lot of people that are red personalities will typically like to wear gold. Okay. That's kind of a side note. It's kind of fun to watch. Okay. So let's talk about, how do you close a red in your business? Now, some of you might already be thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm not a red, right? If you're not a red, it's okay. Here's what you need to do to close that person. Get them in front of your upline. A lot of times reds are very strong. They're very strong people. So get out of the way, get them connected with another red, right? Get them connected with your sponsor or your upline or your upline's upline, right? Another way to close a red, if you already are creating a great story, tell them your track record. They want to know who, hey, if I do this, who am I working with? Am I working with someone that's, that's on the fast track? Am I working with someone that's creating success? Am I working with someone that can show me the promised land? Am I working with someone that I can get to the top of the plan with? Right. So I tell people, if you want to bring a red in your business, like make sure a lot of times get them connected with your upline. I'm just telling you that will help you so much lock in a red. But another way is, guys, show them the money. Show them how they can make $500, $1,000, how they can earn different things inside of the company right away. Show them the money. Again, they like to make money. So don't make the mistake and start showing them, like a PowerPoint of something or a PDF fact sheet or all about the product or all about the cause or, hey, Reds, we can have fun. Reds are like, we don't have time to have fun. We need to make money. Come on, right? So again, make sure that you're talking about making the money with the red. They're all about results. Okay. Reds as well. Guess what? Like they want to be on the stage. They're like, give me a microphone, right? They're like, hey, I want to tell my story, right? So talk about, hey, listen, when you join this business, when you join with me, my number one thing is I want to help you shine. I want to help you become this amazing person here. I see you on the stage. I see you sharing your story on a Zoom, right? With a red, you got to be strong. You can't be wimpy. Even if you're a different color, even if you are a little bit more soft spoken, right? Like you got to be strong with the red. And then also to challenge them. I love to challenge reds. I think it's fun. I'm like, hey, listen, a lot of times reds, they crack me up. They go, well, so what was the fastest that someone got to the top of the company? What was, how long did it take so-and-so to get here or to get there? How many recruits did so-and-so get, right? That's a red, right? And so a lot of times I'll tell them, I'm like, listen, I'd love to see you do that in half the amount of time. I'd love to have you be the top recruiter. I would love to have you get to that rank, and be the youngest one in the company, or, you know what I mean? Or the first African-American, or the first Latino, or the first single, whatever, right? And so I love to challenge a red because they love that. They're like, yeah, I love that. I can do it. Like they are looking for a challenge. You got to give them a challenge big time, especially in this business. So let's talk about how do you lead a red? Okay. So once a red is in your business, oh my goodness, guys, here's the thing. You have got to give them recognition like nobody's business. They're like that puppy dog that comes back and you got to pet him and you got to pet him and you got to pet him and you got to pet him. Now, a red, I'll tell you, as they grow and mature in this business, it definitely changes because they learn going through personal development that it's not all about them. They learn that, you know what, like I can't take all the limelight. They learn to, to learn that it's about growing others, right? And so lots of recognition, they need it in the beginning a lot. They really do. With a red, here's something that's really important with leading your red, guys. If you ever have to correct them, right? And sometimes you're going to, because as an up and coming leader and a leader, like we lead teams, like that's what we do. So here's the thing, sometimes with a red, if you have to correct them, right? If you have to do some like course correction or kind of what I call conflict resolution, you have to understand sometimes they're going to come to the table with a little bit bigger ego, right? And so you have to go there and understanding that, meeting them where they're at. But also, I love leading a red with giving them a challenge. A red, I mean, they love challenges. Here's what's important though. With the red guys, you have to help them create a story right away. If they don't create a story here quickly, they are going to get bored. If they get bored, they're out. You got to help them get moving. You got to help them make some money. You got to help get them some results immediately right out of the gate, right? So that's why making sure they get plugged in the system, they launch the business, right? They start doing the things they need to right away to create that story. Because once Reds create that story, they're like a dog on a bone. Like they are like boom, 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 boom. Like they're so good with that, right? So make sure that with the red, you gotta give them a challenge. Okay, you gotta give them a challenge. So how many of you guys got some good stuff out of a red? If you're a red, drop red in the comment, right? Don't be shy. I'm a red, right? I'm a recovering red. I worked through it. Here's the thing, guys. It's amazing once you do this color personality stuff. you realize like, hey, these are some good traits to have. And then these are some traits that, you know what, maybe I need to work on to become a better person, right? And what it does is that these color personalities kind of shine at like a spotlight on some of our blind spots that we don't realize, like, wow, I didn't realize I have that, right? And here's what I want you guys to know. Every single color is important here, okay? There is no color that's more important than the other. There is not one color that's like, oh, well, if you're red, you're going to be a great leader. No, listen, you can be a multi-million-dollar leader here and be green. You can build an amazing team here and be yellow. You can build a ridiculously fun global business if you are a blue. Okay. So I want you to hear me tonight and know like every single color is super important. And more importantly, guys, you want your team to look like every color. You do not want one team that's all reds. You will kill each other. Like you will be at each other's throats. Like you will have no culture. You'll have nothing, right? You also don't want a team. And as I go through these other colors, you don't want a team that's all blue. My God, you're gonna have a lot of fun, but you're gonna make no money. You're gonna have no direction, and you're gonna be crazy, right? You don't want to be a team that's like all yellows. If you're all yellows, it's awesome, but you're just gonna all like sit around and hug each other all day and like just save the world. But I'm like, we need to save our pocketbooks too, right? And then if you're greens, oh my goodness, like that's a whole nother thing that we're going to talk about today. Okay. So let's jump into the next color. All right. So yellows, we got some yellows in the house. I know we do. Look at Di Carter. I'm a yellow. Okay. So here's the thing. Yellows, they love teamwork. They're all about my teamies, my teammates. They'll probably drop more like gifts on teammates, on like teamwork, make the dream work, right? More than anybody else in the chat. Okay. It's how they are. They are all about being unconditional. They love everybody. They don't want anybody to be left out. They're part of the like, don't leave anybody out, left out crowd. They're like, come on, no matter what. I will tell you though, as a leader, what happens sometimes with yellows, they are people that will like drag people over the finish line, whether they want success or not. They're like, Susie, I'm not leaving you no matter what. And they're just dragging like these people that like just aren't willing to do the work, right? Because they don't want anyone to be left behind. They're like, oh my gosh, we want everyone to experience this like euphoria that I'm experiencing here, right? So they are all about being unconditional. They love to give and give and give and give. Did I say give and give? Right? That is definitely a yellow. Okay. A yellow. They focus on harmony. They're like, can everybody just get along? Like, what the heck? They hate confrontation, drama. They tend to like put their blinders on. They're like, what drama? It could be like complete chaos everywhere running around it. And the yellows are like, we're fine. We're fine. No, so they all want harmony all the time, like all the time. Okay. Also, here's the thing. Anything that is a mission or has a purpose, oh my God, they are in. They're like, you have a mission statement? Sign me up. Like they are in the deal here, right? I love all these yellows. They're like, I'm yellow. Like the yellows are proud too. They're like, I'm yellow, right? Because they're all about the team, right? And so guys, anything that has a mission or a purpose is all them, okay? So here's the thing. What do they dislike? Oh my gosh, yellows that are on here tonight. What do you guys think about rude people? How dare they, right? Like all the time you're like, wow, that was rude. A lot of times yellows, like they might have friends that are red or a prospect and they're like, geez, like what the heck is wrong with that person, right? They're like, that's rude. People that don't listen, oh my goodness, yellows are like, why aren't they listening? Like, I don't understand, right? They're like, yellows, oh my gosh, they will listen for days. They are the very best people ever. Like listeners, they're one of the reasons that yellows do build an incredible team. They're great at listening. They're great at asking great questions, right? Because for them, it is never, ever, ever, ever about them, which I will tell you, sometimes they need to make the business about them to really explode, right? They need to kind of take that lead. For sometimes the only way to get a yellow to actually move sometimes is that if their team wants to, like, let's say their team is making a decision to to go elite, that yellow will lead to get to elite. A yellow sometimes won't go elite unless like the team goes, hey, we're all going to go together, right? Okay, so that's a big clue with a yellow. Okay, when things are unfair, oh my goodness, a yellow, they're like, that's unfair, like what's happening, guys? Like it's got to be like equal opportunity for everybody, like what's going on, right? A yellow, oh my goodness, they will never ever ever make anyone feel uncomfortable. They're like, guys, I don't want to say this because this might put like Susie, she might feel uncomfortable. That would kill me if she felt uncomfortable. I don't ever want to do that. Okay, I don't want to do that. So a yellow, oh my goodness, people are like laughing hysterically. This is so fun. So I told you guys it was going to be a fun training. You do not ever want to make someone feel uncomfortable ever, ever, ever. Okay. Now here's some traits about a yellow. Again, good, better, and different. This is traits of a yellow. Number one, super caring. Oh my gosh, they are the most caring people ever. Now a yellow, they always play by the rules. Okay, no matter what. Like they are like pretty stringent on that. They're like, hey, that's not in the rules. Like, we don't do that. Like, come on, guys, like get back in the lane. Like, it's got to be fair for everybody, right? Yellows are also super peaceful, right? When you're around them, you're like, oh my God, it feels good. Like yellows, oh my gosh, you just love being around them. Yellows are huggers, right? How many yellows are huggers? Oh my gosh. If you meet someone, right? This is guys, I'm going to give you a clear way to recognize a yellow. If you meet a yellow in person, and you like meet them and they're like, oh, nice to meet you. And they handshake. They're like, oh, come on, Susie, give me a hug. Come on in for a hug. They're like a hugger. If you don't hug a yellow, they're kind of like, what's wrong with you? Like they don't get that, right? A yellow too. Yellow doesn't really have like personal space. Like everybody's in the same space. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't really have a bubble at all. Reds, they definitely have a bubble. Greens definitely have a bubble. Like blues and yellows, they don't. They're like everyone's invading each other's space at all times, right? So if you're a red, you might be kind of like, ooh, you know what I mean? She's getting too close. She's asking me for a hug. Oh my gosh, I don't really know her. This is weird, right? A yellow is like, we hug it all in. Come on, hug it in. It's what we do, right? So yellow's super trustworthy. That's why guys, the reason that, what I'll tell you, the reason that yellows do really well in this business in the beginning is they are so trustworthy. Their warm market, their contacts trust them. And we all know what, if people like you and trust you, they do business with you, right? So trustworthy is an incredible trait with the yellow. Now I'll tell you though, a yellow can be super sensitive. Okay. A yellow can sometimes be, take offense. They can sometimes be the ones that are like, I'm offended. This is feeling like, I don't know, like I'm feeling super sensitive. So, sometimes with the yellow, we have to be willing to kind of like step back from the situation and assess it and go, oh my gosh, like they're not talking about me. I don't need to be feeling this way. I need to look at the situation as a whole, right? Another thing though, guys, that a yellow is they're a dweller. What does that mean? That means if a certain situation happens, they tend to dwell on that for a long time. A yellow has sometimes of a difficult time of like letting it go, being done with it, moving on. With a red, if something happens with the red, the situation's over. Later on, like if anyone brings it up, they're like, what are you talking about? Like a red, they forgot it the minute it happened. Okay. A yellow, they'll be like, do you remember 3 years ago when we were in Cincinnati and like that happened and that kind of hurt my feelings? I didn't really want to say it. And you're like, what? Like a yellow, they will dwell on it till like forever and ever and ever. So it's important that if someone's a yellow, like they need to learn how to like let it go, like move on, just like, you know what I mean? Like just keep on going. Here's what I love about a yellow though. Oh my gosh, they are super creative. Yellows, oh my gosh, you need a graphic? They're like, girl, I got you. Oh my God, graphic. Here you go. It's already done. A red, if you ask them to do a graphic, they completely have a meltdown. They're like, oh my God, who can I call right now that can help me do a graphic? Okay, that's a red. Like a yellow, they're like, oh, which one would you like? I got this one, this one, this one. I got it in all these different colors. I got it in, you know what I mean? Like yellows are amazing with creativity. Okay. They've got story flows for days. They're like, oh, what story flow would you like? Like, I got you. You know what I mean? They're like, I'm Canva Pro for the next 5 years, right? They got you. They know, they're super, super creative. Like yellows are awesome to have in your business. Okay. So let's talk about how to recognize a yellow. Okay. How to recognize a yellow. Yellows are sometimes a little bit more soft spoken. If you talk real fast to them, they kind of freak out. You know what I mean? If you talk real fast to them, then they might be saying, like, why are you talking fast? Are you trying to pull something over on me? Like, can you like slow it down a little bit? Right. They're definitely not loud. They're not loud at all. They are, sometimes how do you recognize a yellow? They tend to be a little bit more like earthy, hippie, like they're like all natural, right? They're definitely not like eyelash girls, like, a red and a blue. They're like, give me all the lashes. A yellow's like, oh, that looks kind of weird, like they're not like that. Okay. They're the hugger. They are a lot of times a lot more like neutral dress. They don't wear expensive stuff. Here's the thing about a yellow, they're always on time. You know why they're on time? Because they respect other people's time. They care so much about other people. They never want to be late because they're thinking about somebody else. Like they're not thinking about themselves, right? So they're always on time. Another thing too with jewelry with the yellow, a lot of times jewelry for them is like gemstones, turquoise. They like to wear silver a lot of times, right? They'll do like beaded stuff. Again, a little bit more, they're on the creative side of things, right? So a yellow, it's pretty obvious a lot of times how you can recognize them. Oh my gosh, I wish I could show you a picture of my mom. She like is like the yeller. If there was like a poster child in the dictionary, it's my mom. It is like my mom 100%. Dress, talk, creative, like the whole 9 yards. So how do you actually close a yellow? Well, it's very different than a red. Let me tell you that. Okay, so the one thing with the yellow guys that's really important if you're face to face or you're on a Zoom with them is that you have to lower your voice and slow down your voice if you tend to speak faster to match theirs. Okay, so you got to lower your voice, you have to talk slower, right? With the yellow, you need to make sure you're very sincere. Here's a yellow. A yellow can sniff out BS in 2 seconds. They're like, I smell that. They know. Like with yellow intuition, oh my God, yellow intuition. They're like, girl, don't talk to that girl. I know it. I can feel it. I can see it. I can hear it a mile away. Like I got it. A yellow intuition, never wrong. Okay. Yellow intuition, never wrong. Okay. So you need to make sure that you're super sincere with the yellow. So how do you close a yellow? Guys, don't talk comp plan with the yellow. Oh my God, they're going to be in the company for 3 years and still not understand comp plan. And quite frankly, they don't care. Okay. Don't bring them a PowerPoint. Their eyeballs are going to be crossed. Okay. Here's what they want to hear about. What's the heart of the company? What's the culture? How do people feel when they're here? Right? They want to know the mission. They want to know what we're doing together as a team and as a company. If you catch their heart, my God, you're going to have a yellow on fire for you forever, forever and ever, right? Use real stories about people that you helped because they're all about helping people. They're extremely compassionate. Talk about stories, use testimonials of people that you've helped build a business with or helped create a product with or product story with, right? So a yellow is definitely all about team. If they see it's team, if they see culture, right, they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm in, like I love this. Okay, this is super super important. Also too with the yellow, help them understand how many people that they are going to help by developing a team. Okay, again, they don't really care about them. They're not tuned into what's in it for me radio station like a red is. Like they're tuned into like, how can I serve everybody on a bigger platform? How can I make a greater impact to everybody else out there? Right. So if you talk to them about, listen, when you join this business, you know what's going to happen? There are going to be so many people that you're going to help create a story. There are going to be so many people that you're going to help in so many significant ways. That's how you're going to get a yellow to say, I'm in, sign me up. Let's go get them. Okay. So how do you lead a yellow? All right, guys. So here's the deal. If you have to correct a yellow, you have to be, oh, I wrote mice. That's so funny. That's obviously like a typo. You do have to be quiet as a mouse. That's funny. You have to be quiet as a mice. But you have to be quiet, right? You have to be like soft spoken. You have to be softer, right? If you come at them, like they're going to be like they're going to freak. Okay. So you have to connect with them in a way that they're going to understand, right? Also, how do you lead a yellow? You got to inspire them, right? Inspire them by showing like how they're making the team and the company better, right? I'll give you guys a perfect example. Okay. So again, I hope you don't think I'm picking on you, Di, but listen, Di is part yellow. She's not all yellow, okay? Because she couldn't lead the team she has if she's 100% yellow. Most of you guys, you're going to probably be split between a couple of colors. You know, like I think for myself over all these years, because I've learned how to work with so many different colors, I feel like I'm kind of a combination of all four at this point. I've worked really hard at being a chameleon to just every single color. And also, as I've grown in the business, what you guys will notice too, as you grow in the business, your colors are going to change, and that's okay. Okay. So, but I will tell you, like Di's prominent color is yellow, right? And she's built an amazing team. And the day that, you know, like she really, like we sat down and I'm like, Di, like, here's the thing. Like it's now your job to inspire all these people. And the way that you're going to do that is to getting to the next rank. That's the only way that you're going to do it. So let's bring on board all these guys. Let's collectively get them on board. Let's get their buy-in, and we're all going to do it together. If we do that, will you make a run? And guess what she said? Yes, right? Because for her, it's never been about her. It's been about the team, right? And so then because of that, we jammed. She hit the rank, and she's crushing. Her team's crushing, and all that, right? So if I would have went to her a different way, if I would have challenged Di, guess what would have happened? She would have pulled back. She wouldn't really been like motivated by that, right? And so, you know, so I think it's really important, guys, as you're thinking about your prospects, but also think about, for those that have an existing team already, you might already be thinking, oh my gosh, I've been talking to Susie the wrong way. No wonder Susie's not doing the deal. No wonder Susie's been MIA. No wonder Susie, like, we're sometimes like, we're butting heads or we're not connecting. It's because you got to make sure, how are you actually leading those people every day? Because again, every single person in your team, you have to lead them differently because they're all completely wired a whole nother way. Okay. So if you guys got some good stuff out of a yellow, drop me something in the chat, say good stuff, right? If you're yellow, I see a lot of you yellow. See, yellows are so proud. Everyone's already saying, I'm a yellow. We already know all the yellows, right? All right. So let's talk about greens. Greens are really important. So here's my thing. A lot of times greens get a bad rap. I don't really know why, because let me tell you, there's more millionaires that are greens out there in our profession, but also outside of the profession. Greens are awesome. Okay. I became a lot more green in my business once I realized, like, I used to make fun of greens, and then I realized, holy crap, Sarah, you got to get a little bit green to be able to build a massive, massive organization. Okay. So here's the thing about greens. Greens love a game plan. They're like, give me a good strategy. Give me a game plan. Give me something I can run off of, right? Give me a path. If you give me a path, like, I'm good. Okay. That's a green. Green, they love people that are efficient, right? They don't like people that are not efficient. If you're not efficient, you're going to bug the crap out of a green. Okay. Greens, they love facts. The fact that I have a lot of energy on here, some of the greens are like, oh, it's so late. She has a lot of energy. That's kind of bugging me. Okay. Greens, like, they don't like hype. They're just about the facts. They're like, you know what I mean? They're like proofs in the pudding. You know what I mean? They're just like, give it to me straight. Okay. Another thing about greens, they like to get their questions answered. Guys, they ask questions. They ask questions for a reason. They're trying to get clarification. They're trying to understand something. Once a green understands something, they're in. They're solid. They got it. They got their blinders on, right? Another thing about greens, they are obsessed with details. Did you guys hear me? Obsessed. Okay, so for some of you that aren't detail oriented, you're probably going, oh my God, if Joe asks me one more question, I'm going to explode. You know what I mean? Like, Susie is like a 5-year-old, right? It's just the way that we're wired, meaning like they ask why, and then why, and then why, and then why, right? So these are the things that makes a green tick. Now, what does a green dislike? Oh my gosh. Okay. A green is a lot like a yellow. They don't like loud stuff. Greens, they don't really like loudness. They're like, oh my God, that red is so loud. Ugh, you know what I mean? A green, they do not like anyone that's lazy because they're very efficient. If you're lazy, they're like, what's wrong with you? A green has incredible work ethic. Incredible. They will work like a junkyard dog. They get on something, they go, if they know their strategy and their game plan, I mean, they are super solid. Okay, they are super solid. So a green, they don't like surprises. Some of you guys might be married to a green and you try to surprise your spouse for something and they're like, I didn't know about that. Like, that's actually not funny. Like, it wasn't scheduled in my agenda. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's not planned out, they're like, what's happening? Okay. They don't like surprises. They want something that's predictable. They know what's happening at all times, right? That's just them. They dislike if there is no structure to something. Oh my gosh, a green's like, guys, you're winging this. They're like, I don't wing things. I don't wing anything. Like, give me something tangible. I feel like it's air. Like, I can't. Like, this is crazy, right? They want a structure. They want a system. Dislike, like I shared with you, hype. Like, they don't like hype. They're like, why do you got to do hype? They're just like, I don't get it. Like, just give me the facts and then I'm cool. Okay. So let's talk about traits of a green. Again, not good or bad, just is. Okay. So traits of a green, super logical. Okay. They are definitely not the creative side. They're a lot like a red. If you said, hey, could you make me a graphic for the team huddle? They're like, I have no idea how to do it, but I'll ask someone that can help, that can get it done. Right. So again, they're not very creative. So here's the thing about a green. Typically, they're pretty conservative in all areas of their life. It's just how they are. And I'm not saying like political, I'm just saying conservative and just like just how they are. Okay. A green, very predictable. A green, a lot of times they'll eat the same thing every single day. Like for breakfast, they get up, they have the same thing. They're like, they don't really care. They know how their day is going to be ran. Like, it's just how they are. They love like having a rhythm in their business, a rhythm in their day. That's just how they're wired. Very systematic, very calculated. They don't, they're not, a green isn't someone that will all of a sudden say, let's be spontaneous. No, you say let's be spontaneous to a green, they're gonna have a heart attack on you. Like, if you, like for them, they might say, oh, okay, that sounds fun, but like, let's get it book it in the calendar. Like, let's get it scheduled out. Like, that's just kind of how they are. Another thing about a green is they are crazy, wicked smart. Oh my gosh, like wicked smart, like kind of like, Rain Man. You know what I'm saying? Like human calculator, whether it be like math, science, like really anything. Okay, guys, they're just wicked smart. Okay, in so many different areas. Now, here's the thing with a green though. A green is not very trusting though. Okay. So, and this is something that greens sometimes need to work on. The reason they're not trusting is that for them, it's all about give me the facts, give me the proof, give me all the information, give me all the research, let me like do my due diligence so I can make a decision and say yes, right? It takes a while for a green to trust, but once a green trusts, like they're good to go because they've got everything checked up on their list so they can actually trust that. Okay. So again, a green is an awesome person to have inside your business. Sometimes though with a green, they can be a little bit rigid. So it's having, it's also being willing as a green to learn how to be adaptable and learn how to go with the flow more, right? And learning how to, be willing to kind of like tweak things as they need to be, right? So it's important that, I tell people, have a plan, but be willing to be adaptable and be flexible if you need to change the plan. And sometimes with a green, like that is painful for them. But I promise you, if you are a green and you learn how to do that, oh my gosh, it's going to make your life so much easier, not in just your personal life, but also in your business as well. Okay. So let's talk about how to recognize a green. Okay. So how to recognize a green. Guys, they are prompt. Do you guys know what prompt means? Prompt does not mean on time. It means 5 minutes earlier than they needed to actually be. So if you tell them I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock, they will be there at 9:55 and barely say that they're on time. Like they are ridiculously on point at all times. Okay. And again, though, that's just how they are. That's how they're wired. Now with a green, I kind of joke around, guys, with a green. Don't be mad at me if I say this, but here's the thing. In appearance, nothing jumps out. I hate to tell you guys that, but with the green, like you're not going to see them all snazzied up. You're not going to see them like you're not going to be able to like, because here's the thing with the green, logically, they don't really spend money on clothes because they're like, listen, I'm only going to spend money that on things that can make me money or things that can be an asset, like not a liability, right? So a green, like you're the way that you can kind of recognize them is they're just kind of like, a lot of times they dress in neutrals. That's just kind of how they are, right? Now, here's the thing with the green, because sometimes greens have a harder time with building relationships, right? They don't like a lot of small talk because that's just not how they're wired. They can sometimes tend to be short, almost a little bit like a red, where people go, "Gosh, are they kind of being rude?" Right? But it's not. It's just the way that they're wired. It's short, right? So sometimes reds aren't real personal. So sometimes with greens, what I've seen is it's taken them a while to build real true relationships in this business. And it's really important. I tell people, like, if you are green, guys, the one thing that I would have you really focus on is cultivating relationships. And I know that it's sometimes hard, but the relationships, that's a stickiness to our business. The relationships are what people are going to like tried and true. They're going to go through thick and thin with you. They're going to go through the ebbs and flows of the business. They're not going to quit. They're going to become your lifers. But as a green, you got to work really, really hard on cultivating those friendships, right? And so sometimes that can be a little bit challenging for the greens, and sometimes why it takes them a little bit longer to build teams, because they have to learn how do I actually really learn how to be more friendly and more personable, right? And really dive in when I don't really like small talk. Like you have to learn like how to cultivate that relationship. Super important with the green. Okay. So how do you actually lead a green? Okay. How do you actually close the green? So one of the things, guys, that's important with closing a green is you got to give them a lot of proof of your abilities, right? They have to see that either you're creating some success or your upline's creating success or your upline's upline is, right? Getting them connected with them. You got to make sure with the green, you don't leave any lingering questions. You got to get all their questions answered. If you can get all their questions answered, they're in. That's the reason they're answering the questions. They just want clarification. Like once they understand, like they're going to be so good in your business. If you give them what they want, they will build an incredible business here. They want proof, guys. So you got to show success stories. Big time, right? Proofs in the pudding. They want to see the facts, right? So with a green, they'll use a lot of language like system. They love to hear the word system, guys. If you say, hey, let me show you your system. A lot of times with the green, even before I get them in the business, I say, hey, listen, let me show you this system. If you did do this, this is what you would do. And I show them the system right away, because in their mind, that's what they're thinking. Okay, they're thinking, if I did this, what would I do? So I show them the system even before they're in, because then they can see that. I know with the green, that's one of their top objections is how does this work? How does this work? How are all the moving pieces? What's the game plan, right? What does that look like? So I use words like logical, next steps. This is how it works. Like that exact verbiage with the green, I use every single day. Okay. Some of you greens, look at you're laughing. I love that word. Yes. Okay. I get it. All right. So so one thing too with the green guys, greens, they like PDFs. They like fact sheets. Okay. They even like comp plan. Okay. They don't want to see a product video. Okay. A lot of times greens are not really into the product. Like that's not their thing. Okay. They're not about they're not about all the fun. If you show them, hey, you can earn this and you can earn a trip, or, oh my God, I can't wait till you go to the next event. Greens, that doesn't do it for them. They're just like, okay. Like that's not going to get them to say yes. Okay. Again, be thinking, what's the tools that I'm giving them, right? To say yes. You got to be giving them the tools that are logical, clear, help them make a decision, see the system, see the plan, right? See how that works. Okay. So again, I'll be thinking, guys, with closing, there are so many incredible tools that we have. Think about what color personality, right? What color is that specific tool, and make sure that when you're closing people, you are now using that tool. Sometimes we're using the wrong tool when we're closing people because we haven't taken a minute to actually look at what personality is it, what color personality is this person. And if we guys, I'm telling you, once you understand these personalities, you're gonna be able to serve up everything that needs. Your guys' closing is gonna be so high. You're gonna be like close, 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 because you're gonna give them exactly what they need and they're gonna sign up all day long. Like you're gonna be able to move so many people into action because you're gonna understand like the moving pieces now, right? The moving pieces of this business. Okay, so how do you guys actually lead a green? Okay, guys, you're going to inspire them by having a plan of action. Okay, the reason that the greens are moving in my business is they love the units and the groups. They love the plan. They love the 90-day run. They love the 120 days of daily posts. They love all that, right? They're like, give it to me. Oh my God, this is awesome. If I show them the plan, they're on it. Okay. So make sure that you're giving them the plan of action. What are the assignments? They love the word assignments. They're like, here's the assignment. They're like, yes, an assignment. They love that stuff. Okay. So if you ever need to course correct, right, or have you're dealing with maybe a conflict resolution with a green, you got to be logical with these guys. Okay. You got to be even keel with them. Here's the thing about a green. You only got to tell them once. Tell them once, they got it. Okay. It's super, super simple. With the red, same thing with the red. Red and green are very similar. You tell them one time, they got it. Okay. So if you are green, drop me a green. I see some of you guys. If you guys are having fun right now, drop the word fun. We're gonna move into the last color. And we are going to talk about the blues. Now, here's the thing. If you're a blue and you've been on this, you've been dying the whole time. You're like, oh my God, what about me? She forgot about me. Sarah, I'm here. I know, blues. I see you. I hear you. Right? Now, here's the thing. Oh my gosh, the blues, 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 blues. My best friends are blues. It's crazy. I'm a red. I don't know how my best friends are blues. It's just wild. It is wild how it works. All right, so blues, they love to have fun. They love to have fun. F-U-N, F-U-N, F-U-N. Like blues, they love to have fun. Blues, they love a party. Like blues are the people, guys, in your life that like when you were growing up, everybody called them and said, where's the party at tonight? What's everybody doing this weekend? Right? The blues were like the Pied Piper of the neighborhood. That's how they were. Like people love to be around them. People could spot a blue a mile away. Like my brother is an extreme blue. He walks in the room and everyone's like, Terry, where you been? Like blues are like loud. They're super fun. They seek adventure in everything. If it's fun, they're in. That's what they always say. They're like, is this fun? Okay, let's do it. Like they are not logical. They are, you know what I mean? They also too are not a yellow. So they kind of don't care about like they love people love being around them, but at the same time, they're kind of like, I'm doing this whether anyone else wants to do it or not. This seems fun. Like they're in it to win it, like all the time. Okay. They love to travel. Oh my gosh. They're just like, I just want to travel the world. Right. During this crazy time, these last 2 years, blues have been dying because they love to travel. They're just chomping at the bit. They're like, just take me anywhere. I don't care. If I can travel, I'm excited, right? They love, love, love to travel. Blues, they love stories. Oh my gosh. Blues, they are amazing storytellers. Think about people in your life that are amazing at telling stories. Those are your blues. Oh my gosh. They are so awesome in this business too, guys. Like they are amazing, amazing storytellers. So let's talk about dislikes of a blue. Oh my God. Anything boring, they're like, actually, they probably didn't like anything on this Zoom until I started talking about them. And they're like, finally, something that's exciting, a blue. Oh, this is awesome. This whole training, they're probably like, I'm so bored, Sarah, please. Right. Okay. So dislike any facts. Guys, if you start giving a blue a fact, they're glossed over. Please, if you ever throw them a PDF, they're like, what's a PDF? What's a PowerPoint? They're not into that. Okay. They don't want to know a PDF fact sheet. They don't want to know a PowerPoint. They don't want to know a product video. Dude, that's not in them. Comp plan, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Like that's not their thing. They are all like any fact that you give them, That's why sometimes blues, like blues and greens are like, oh my gosh, like they annoy each other. This green is like, I'm so annoyed by this blue. And this blue is like, listen, green, chill out, cool it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're just like not, it's funny because they're both opposites that way. Okay, here's the blue. Blue is Pollyanna. Blue is super optimistic about everything, no matter what happens. They are always what? Glass half full, no matter what happens. My daughter is such a blue. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know if you guys saw my post the other day. My daughter told me this is super funny. She says, Mom, I just got to tell you, I think this year I'm going to be on the naughty list. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And she says, Mom, I'm probably going to get coal, but it's okay. I'm just going to paint the rocks and it's going to be all right. Like, I'm going to paint them pretty colors and like basically like it is what it is, right? Super optimistic no matter what happens, comes their way. It could be like anything. You're just like, hey, we're cool, guys. Like, we're good. Like, no big deal. They do not like negative people. If they see negative people, they're like, oh my gosh, she's totally a Debbie Downer. And they'll like go the opposite way. Okay. They just like, they have nothing to do with that. Okay. They just like anything overbearing. Overbearing people, they're like, that's why sometimes with a red, they're like, oh my gosh, you're too much. Like you're too much of too much of too much. They don't like anybody overbearing. They like light, fun. If it's not fun, they're out. That's their deal. Like they're out if it's not fun. Anything that's called work, like they're like, oh my God, this is work at Modair. Like, I don't want to do this. Like they're out. Don't talk about work with them here. Don't be like, you need to work hard. Oh my God, or a blue. They're just like, I don't want to do this. Okay. So again, that's not their cup of tea at all. Now, traits of a blue. Personality. They are all personality. They probably sing all their words all the time. That's how they are, right? That's what they do. They're super bubbly, right? They, guys, your blues, okay, you want to know something? I'll give you a secret. You guys want to grow big pods, pod builders, a big ginormous pod builders. They are blues because they are great at sales. People want to buy from them. They're like, oh my God, Susie makes me feel great. I'll buy. I don't care what you're selling. You could be selling broken glass in a bag. I'm in. I want it. Here's my credit card, right? Great at sales. Pod builders are all blue, like incredible, incredible at sales. Okay. Blues, super enthusiastic. They are enthusiastic all the time. Very spontaneous, good or bad. They're spontaneous. You know, they're the ones, though, guys, too. They love events. If you're like, if they sign up in your business and you're like, well, hey, we got an event in 1 week in Salt Lake City, they're like, I'm down, I'm in. Matter of fact, they might even say, I already booked my ticket, and it was like 3 minutes ago. Like that's a blue. Like they don't care. They're like, I'm down. A road trip, let's do it. Like let's come on, everybody. Right? They're great gatherers. They're great, what I call body draggers. Oh my gosh, they will bring you more people to your business because they are great at body dragging. Okay. Here's the thing with the blue, though, guys. They are short-term thinkers. Okay, which is good and bad. Okay, if you're like, hey, let's do a 90-day run, they're kind of like, that seems a little bit long. I don't really know if I can think that far out, right? Oh my gosh, this is why, you know why blues are great at sales, guys, especially here? The daily pay. They're like twice a day. I get it, right? Share a code, make some money. I can do that. Okay, that's a blue. If you're like, hey, let's map out your next 90 days. Hey, let's map out your year. Oh my God. I mean, they're going to go running for the hills. They're like, I don't think so, girl. Like they're not like that. Okay. They're very, very short term. So you have to give them bite-sized pieces. Okay. Because here's the thing. I love blues, but blues are definitely squirrel, 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 squirrel. Like everything, you know what I mean? Like blinders on, not so much. Maybe one blinder on, the other one's going this way. They're flat looking all, you know what I mean? Like they're not like a red or a green, right? With the blinders on. A blue is kind of like, you know, it's kind of like this. A blue is somebody that's like rocking and rolling in their power hour. And then the next thing they know, they're down the rabbit hole and they're like viewing, like they've already seen like 50 reels. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't really know what happened. They were in Messenger and all of a sudden they weren't anymore during their power hour, right? That's some of you guys are laughing. You're like, oh my God, right? Like that's what happens with blues. That's what happens, right? And it's okay. It's just kind of like, we just have to give them bite-sized pieces, help them understand. And if you're a blue too, now you're probably wondering, no wonder a 90-day run maybe scared me a little bit. No wonder when they're like, you got to map out your year, right? I even see people say, oh, I'm mapping out my 5 years. I'm like, 5 years? I'm a little bit of a blue. So my blue streak a little bit kind of freaks out and feel like, I got my 5 years mapped out. I'm like, 5 years, holy cow, right? Again, everyone's a little bit different. A green definitely would have a 5 year plan mapped out. Okay. So short-term thinkers. So it's important that we do our very best to kind of keep our blues on the path, right? And so again, always be thinking, am I making this business fun? Right? Like, am I, being enthusiastic with them, right? How am I motivating these blues, right? But also, if you're a blue, guys, make sure that you're not always just like, remember, if you're always super bubbly, if you're always like super spontaneous, if you're always like, it's fun, but you're working with a red or a green, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them, right? So make sure you kind of go into that mode of putting on a red cap or a green cap or a yellow cap or a blue cap, right? So all my conversations that I'm having with leaders on my team, new team members, right? Or prospects, right? I'm always putting on whatever cap that I'm feeling that their color personality is. Okay. So thing about a blue, how do you recognize a blue? Oh my goodness. Okay, blues. I'm gonna have to bust you out a little bit because my besties are blues. You're always late. Here's the thing. You're proud to be late though. You're the girl that like even wears the t-shirt that says, I know I'm late, or I didn't want to come. I'm late. Like it's just the way like we're late. They're late. They're late because they're like running around doing a gazillion different things, right? They lose track of time. A blue, I don't think they've ever worn a watch. They don't even know they don't have a watch, matter of fact, probably. Right? They're late. That's what they are, right? The blues, oh my goodness, they like to wear bright colors. Blues, you can see them like miles and miles away, right? They love bright, they wear trendy clothes, they're bright, they're loud like a red, right? So sometimes some of the traits blue and red share, it's very, very similar. How can you spot a blue? Oh my gosh, guys, blue, they use a lot of slang. A lot of slang. You can pick up on that. You hear them say like the newest slang words or things where I'm like, how'd you hear that? Because they love TikTok. They're on TikTok. They hear all these different slang things. They're saying slang, right? A blue, they use their hands. They might as well be Italian, no matter what they are like. They use their hands in everything that they do. They talk, they share, right? It's how they are. They use their hands a lot. They're very like big personality, right? A blue, God bless them, no attention span though, no attention span. So it's like when if you want to get the attention of them, you got to move quick, right? With them, like you got to cut out the fat. You got to like if you want them to do something, right? You got to tell them immediately, right? And it's got to be about the fun, okay? So also too, one thing with the blue guys, blue love, like they like makeup. They like eyelashes, right? They love all that fun stuff. So sometimes color their hair, right? Again, like blues love to wear like even like costume jewelry, right? They wear actually a lot of silver too. But a lot of costume stuff, like stuff that's on trend, right? That is definitely a blue. Okay, that is definitely a blue personality. So how do you actually close a blue? Okay, how do you close them? Guys, blues, they don't mind being told what to do. Okay. So tell them what to do, but do it nicely. Say, hey, these are the next steps. This is how it works in the business, right? This is how you get enrolled in the business. Again, don't give them too much detail. If you give them details like you lost them, right? A blue, oh my gosh, they don't want a boss. So you tell them, hey, listen, you're not gonna have a boss here. They're like, I'm in, right? They don't want a micromanager because that feels overbearing, right? Again, they don't like overbearing people at all whatsoever. So again, they love to travel. You could talk about incentive trips, right? You could talk about going to the next big event. You could talk about all the people they're going to meet there, all the cool friendships and the cool people that they're going to, meet and build, right? They love that. Okay. So focus on that big time. They love stories. They love pictures, right? So make sure you're sharing that with them. I tell people, guys, if you have a blue, get them to an event immediately. Like you have to do whatever you got to do to get a blue. If you get a blue to an event, oh my gosh, you locked them in, locked and loaded. You got them over the line. They love the feeling. They love the people. They love the culture. They love it. They love it. So, but here's what's even cooler. You get them to an event, your blue will be your biggest promoters for events. Your blue will get more people in events than anybody else. They are great body draggers. They are great at promoting events. They are great just promoting in general, right? Again, that's why they're great sellers, is they're such incredible promoters. Okay. So how do you actually lead a blue? Okay. So blues are definitely inspired by rewards, a lot like a red. A red's inspired by rewards as well. Okay. A blue loves recognition, lots of recognition, lots of praise. But they love rewards of social things, things that they can do. So a reward of going to a concert or going to an event or going to a social gathering or having an experience of something, right? Some type of experience they can have. They are inspired by those things big time. Here's the thing with the blue, they don't like anyone that harps on them. Okay. So be careful of that. So if you ever have to like course correct a blue, right? Like make sure you don't harp on them. They're a lot like a yellow. You got to soften a little bit. You can't be like to the point with a red and a green. You can be to the point. And they're like, okay, I get it. With a kind of a blue and with a yellow, you definitely need to use like a soft spoken like approach when it comes to that, like super, super important when it comes to it. But blues are so fun, you guys. I mean, I think the one thing that I would just encourage you guys to do is like, as you are building a business, like focus on every color. You want your business to look like the world. I tell people, you guys, you want everybody. You do not want just one team that's all a certain color, because what happens is then the outsiders that are looking in, they go, oh, I'm not like them. I can't relate to that. Right. And you want your business to be able to attract everybody that's out there. So here's what I want you guys to understand. Okay. Listen, it is so important to embrace your color. If you are green, embrace it. If you are yellow, embrace it. If you are red, embrace it. If you are blue, embrace it. Every single color is super, super important here. And what you guys are going to see is, especially with what we went through tonight, is that there are things that are incredible traits to have, right? Strength traits. And there are some of our traits that are maybe a little bit more of a weakness. Okay. And so I don't want to be discouraged by those, but I do want to, the reason I wanted to point some of these things out, guys, is for you to be aware of it, because once you're aware of it, guess what? You can start working on kind of like tweaking it, or when certain situations happen, you go, oh, no wonder I feel this way, or no wonder I was acting out this way, or no wonder Susie was acting that way because that's what her color is, right? Or no wonder I couldn't get her to do this, or no wonder she's jumping on Zooms late, or no wonder, right? And so you're going to go from sometimes feeling frustrated in this business to now understanding, right? And being more compassionate with people because you're understanding what motivates them, right? My hope for you guys tonight, though, is now being able to understand, like, I want you to have fun with this, because now that you guys know, you guys kind of have like, you kind of got like an ace card in your back pocket. You guys know that now, right? Like now that you guys know personalities to understand them, every conversation that you're going to have now, I want to encourage you to start trying to figure out, gosh, is this person a red? Is this person a yellow? Is this person a green? Is this person, and be listening and watching and seeing what they do. A lot of times you're going to be able to pick up very quickly what they are. And so because of that, you're going to know how to talk to them correctly when it comes to inviting, when it comes to closing, when it comes to motivating them correctly, right? When it comes to leading them in your business as well. And know too, guys, that the more that you grow in this business, your color personalities are going to change. Like I look at, like when I first got started in this business, oh my gosh, I probably was 90% red. I kid you not. And a sliver blue and a sliver yellow and zero green. Okay. Over the years, I've definitely changed because I've matured in life. I've matured in business, and I've gone through a lot of personal growth, and I've learned, like, hey, listen, like, Sarah, you probably don't want to be like all that red, And a lot of times I feel like some of that red was maybe propped up, right? And so I've learned now, like now my colors are I literally probably feel like I'm 25% of every color. Like I really am. Like I have worked hard on having emotional maturity in this business and growing and getting better, where now I feel like I do a good job of being able to relate to like every personality, no matter who they are. Like that's really my job, is is every day I tell myself, Sarah, be a chameleon, be a chameleon, be a chameleon. Like just because you're that color, like doesn't mean like that's what you need to portray on that person, right? What's their color, right? What's their color? Give them what they need, what they want, because that's how you're going to be able to instantly move people, right? How you instantly can impact people and influence them in such a good way. So guys, I hope you guys got some great information. I love doing this training. I'm super excited. I would encourage you guys, for those of you that are dating, like start using this stuff on your spouse. Guys, here's the thing. For those of you that have kids, I'm just telling you, when I figured this out, when I started having kids, you guys, my communication with my kids, oh my gosh, I know exactly how my kids are wired. I don't have to guess. I know that my son is a green red. I know that my daughter is a blue yellow. I know exactly how to work with them. I know exactly what they're feeling, right? I know how to inspire them, how to influence them positively because I know their colors, right? And so I don't get frustrated, or I understand when they get frustrated, when they get angry, or when they don't understand things, because I understand their color personality. So I want to encourage you, like, don't just use this with your team, right? But use this with your family. I'm just telling you, this will enrich your family and your life. Oh my gosh, in ways you could never ever imagine. It has just been so incredible for me as a mom, being able to use and understand my kids and how they work and how they're wired. It's been awesome. So I appreciate you guys being on tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take care, everybody. I'll get you guys this recording. But God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, everybody. Good night.